just press play on the Nerd Mixtape. Thanks for joining us. My name is Jim.
Claudia. And Melinda.
And this is our show. Today we're going to talk about Spider-Man. And specifically, we're going to start off with Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, and I walked around the other. Yeah, and so we're going to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming. I guess Marvel's newest movie. We're a little late to the party, but we wanted to kind of do our research and prepare for this. So Melinda did her homework. Claudia,
kind of.
A little bit, you know. I have my memory here, so I remember the old movies.
Yeah.
But first we're going to start off with Spider-Man Homecoming. So what were you expecting from Spider-Man Homecoming?
I thought it was going to be like, I don't remember the other ones, but I thought it was going to be your typical superhero movie. And I saw the trailers and I thought, okay, it's going to be a little childish, but it was good. It was good. So the effects were there, unique. It kept you watching it.
Did you watch Civil War? Which you did, right? The Captain America Civil War, when you first saw Spider-Man and all that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
what was your first impression when you saw him?
He's talking too much.
Wow, I was like wow, he had 2 lines.
He sounds like a kid. He's talking too much.
He is a kid.
He was everywhere. It was cool.
So speaking of that,
it was a good moment.
That's what was different, I guess, from these other movies. He looked really young. He's a kid. It's a different take. Like I think he was a sophomore in high school, right? Or like freshman or sophomore?
He was an actual baby.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool to see this new take on Spider-Man. Kind of like a very young Spider-Man just starting off. It's different because from when I grew up, it's like you had this Tony Stark character, Iron Man, that was his mentor. It was so different from what we grew up with, right? What were some of your favorite things that you liked in the movie, Homecoming?
I like the cats. I noticed that there's a lot of cat cameos. Tony Stark was wearing one. There was a cat in one of the stores that he saves, right? And according to my notes, they used the cat emoji to cover someone's face at some point. I think when he was like maybe the FaceTiming or something.
I don't remember.
Do you remember that?
No,
they used the cat emoji to cover someone's face.
So you thought there was like this like theory?
What's up with all the cats?
All the cats. You noticed all the cats and I didn't.
Not though.
It was enough to notice. Like his shirt.
That's 3 things though.
It's a lot.
Okay.
It's a lot of cats.
How about you, Melinda? What were some of your favorite things about the movie?
Oh gosh, favorite overall. Just in general, I loved the movie. I loved how it started. I loved that it had like the theme song of Spider-Man playing when the Marvel was coming out.
Sure.
I loved the way it started when Peter was vlogging his experience because we didn't.
That was super cool.
That's new, and we got to see. I guess what he went through with Civil War, he was just talking on a camera. He's like, "Oh, that's my cue," and just goes and steals Captain America's shield.
Like right before he actually did it.
Why are you vlogging,
awesome.
Peter? What are you doing?
I mean, that's literally what a 15-year-old would be doing. They'd be on Snapchat.
I was gonna say, I can't say that I would be on Snapchat if I were a part of the Avengers, like as a high schooler. Heck yeah, I'd be Snapchatting
like,
that entire thing.
What did he say? One of those lines. He's like, "Oh, it's this guy and this guy. Well, that's a new guy."
Oh with Ant-Man.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, it's So it was really cool.
Yeah,
but I like that.
Overall, I mean, I loved the tone of this film. I loved. We didn't get to see his origin story, but we've seen a cajillion Spider-Man.
Sure.
We all know how he became Spider-Man, so I like that they didn't show that, but they showed him trying to become Spider-Man, I guess, like his journey to finding out who he is, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Sure.
And I love that. I love that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I did like about this movie. It was a different take. It wasn't the same old, reiterating the same old, like, origin story. Uncle Ben, I don't even think was mentioned in this movie. No. Like the whole, with great power comes great responsibility, which is like a key.
The iconic
Spider-Man thing wasn't even a part of this movie. It's just kind of like something bad happened and now I'm trying to do good. Yeah. And that was super cool. And that was kind of established in Civil War. But in Homecoming, I thought it was really fleshed out. It was super cool. I liked a lot of I liked the setting. His age was good. A different, this not so serious stuff. Like, as far as the plot, what did you think of the plot?
Yeah, well, as concerning like his personality, I loved him as Spider-Man. I did, because Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, I'm sorry if I get hated for this, but he was way too
old.
Well, aside from the fact that he looked like a dad,
like 35 years old.
He was like 35 years old, being a sophomore or whatever in high school. He was way too nerdy for me, And then Andrew Garfield, as much as I love him, was way too cool for Spider.
Yes, he was. He was like skateboarding and doing.
He was super cool. I'm like, that's not Peter Parker. Like he's, and I found like this one, Tom Holland. Like I think he found like the right balance. And I know that he said in interviews that he tried to get a little bit of both. And I think that he found that because he was like this quirky teen kid who was super excited and asking questions and wanting to be an Avenger, but he also had that like quirkiness that's like cute and cool to him, I guess. I think he found that right balance. I really, really did like him as Spider-Man.
Yeah, and to the character, he was very smart. So he was like in this like STEM campus, like pretty much, where all these kids...
Midtown, science and technology.
Exactly. So all these kids that would go there, they're all like these smart kids. Yeah. And speaking of like smart kids, and you had a diverse cast of recast of characters that have been in Spider-Man forever. You had like Flash. I know his like nemesis in the movie, Flash Thompson, which was his nemesis in this movie as well, but not the typical jock that you see in other, like in the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, or the comic book. It's just this like jock, and it's like, why would these guys be in the same circles? Right. They wouldn't. But here in
they adapted it, and it made sense.
They adapted it, and it made sense. So you had this guy who was a bully still, but he belonged there, you know?
Yeah, he was still, he was still a bully. You knew that he was a bully, but it was just more of him, like, maybe being threatened by Peter's intelligence. Yeah. But yeah, they still made it work. They still made him the bully.
Super cool. Yeah. They were good with their characters. How'd you feel about the characters? Or like his friends, his group of friends?
I mean, I thought they were really unique. Like his best friend too. I can't remember his name. Did you figure out what his name was? I forgot his name.
Was it Ned?
Ned. Yeah, Ned.
Let's call him Ned.
He had his like own personality, especially that's when he's in the computer and then the teacher walks in and he's like,
favorite parts.
I'm just watching porn. Like, kid, like, great.
What are you doing?
Great save right there.
Yeah, and like the whole thing with him, I loved it. I know we're jumping around, but it was great when he's like, I want to be the guy in the chair. The guy in the chair. And he got to be that. He had like 2 computers here, 1 computer there, and he had the headpiece.
He was good.
He was awesome.
He was a really, really good friend. I thought he was hilarious. After he found out that Peter was Spider-Man, the question, he's like, do you lay eggs? Dude, I started cracking up. Like, that's a good one. He was asking the most hilarious questions. He's like, can you summon an army of spiders? Just like a nerdy best friend trying to ask his best friend about his powers and stuff. And even when they were in like that science lab and they were trying to figure out that alien technology, which I mean, first of all, is ridiculous. Like, why are you going to have alien stuff in a classroom? But he was just saying that he's like, no one's best friend gets to be Spider-Man, and mine is. And he was a supportive best friend, and I love that. Like there was no jealousy. There's nothing. It was nothing like that. Not like in
why you, not me, and he's
not like the 2002 Spider-Man where Harry and Peter were like best friends, but still like jealous,
frenemies or something like that.
Yeah, like they claimed to be best friends, but they were still like in competition with each other, especially with Mary Jane. But you didn't see that here, and I love that. I really, really like their friendship.
Yeah, it was a good friendship. It was a funny moment where like he comes in, takes off his mask, and he just like drops that Lego Death Star or something right on the floor, and he's like, "Holy crap!" Like whatever he says. Yeah. But it was just really funny. And other scenes with him where he tries on the suit, it's super tight on him with the mask. It's really good. He was a good friend, good comic relief, and good addition to the movie. I thought.
Yeah, I really liked him.
He was super cool.
Zendaya was like, I was trying to figure out what her role in the movie was.
I was trying to figure out who Zendaya was because I don't know.
The grumpy girl.
I know, but I don't know who she is. Like, is she
she's
an actress?
She's like the kids' generation, like Hannah Montana now, right? Like everyone loves her or something.
Yeah,
because I just saw when
Disney.
I saw it. So anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting, but that I didn't know who she was. I just saw Zendaya. I was like, who's that?
Yeah. She's real popular with kids because she was in Shake It Up, I think that's what
she's like our version of Hannah Montana.
Yeah. Cool. But she has a friend too, Bella Thorne.
I don't know.
So like they came in a pair, but she really like hit us because I mean she's diverse and everybody wants her. But I read that like people are theorizing that she's gonna have a bigger role in the next movies because they're trying to figure out what character she's gonna be.
She's not MJ, just like making that clear.
Yeah, no, she's not
MJ.
Yeah, so I thought like at the end, I mean they did say my friend call me MJ, right?
Yeah.
She did
she's
say
not
that.
Mary Jane
she's not Mary
Watson.
Jane Watson, but she might be that version of it maybe in this, that's what I was thinking, like maybe they'll
like a love interest.
Yeah, there's not going to be a Mary Jane Watson like the typical redhead. This is now the new MJ. I mean, I don't think you can name like I mean, she said, "Call me MJ."
Yeah,
so that's my
name's
theory.
Michelle. It's not even Mary.
Mary.
So, like, I mean, they already established like she's not Mary Jane Watson.
It's not the same character.
All. Yeah, like they're two completely different characters. So they've already like set that.
Oh, okay. Down. Yeah, when I saw the movie, I was thinking, oh, okay, this is their take on Mary Jane or MJ, and I think she called him Tiger though. Didn't she?
I don't remember.
When he
wanted to go to the restroom?
Maybe. Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's like, where are you going? I mean, I don't care. Go. Like, yeah. It was pretty good. She was a good character.
She was. I don't know how to describe it. She was like that rebel teen person. But
intelligent. Like, she's very sarcastic.
Right. And but she was sarcastic, and I thought she was hilarious. Like, when she kept calling them, when they were sitting down at the lunch table, and then she's like, wow, you guys are losers. And then they asked him, they go, why aren't you sitting down with anyone? She's like, well, I don't have any friends. Like, she was just so upfront about everything. Even when they went to the party, and she's like, wow, I can't believe you guys came. And they're like, you're here. Like, why are you here? And she just, like, walks away with a sandwich. Like, she was just, I don't know, she was funny. I like her character.
Yeah, they went to the Washington Monument, and she didn't go up on it because she's like, "I was built by slaves." And then the security guard's like,
"It's true,
a little bit, you know." And that was cool. So she had a good character. She's very intelligent, and again, these characters were all smart. You know, they all belong there. Another character, I guess, played a major role. As one of their friends is.
I thought you were gonna say Aunt May. I thought that's who you were gonna go with next.
Aunt May. Aunt May. What
did not like how they how they played up her. I know that they were like trying to pick at it, like her age, but I think that they went overboard with like the way she looks, because like obviously like the real Aunt May is like 90 years old, like she's like a grandma for reals, and but grandma. With this one, like the part where she burnt the turkey or whatever she was making, it was so exact. Like, I got secondhand embarrassment when she like took her clip off and like slow mo. She's like, "Oh, I burnt the turkey. Let's go for Thai food." I don't know what she said, and I just got super uncomfortable. I'm like, "Oh, that's weird."
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get that from there. I thought she did well. I like the different take of Aunt May.
She's too sexy of an aunt.
That's what exactly what a character in the movie. That's what Tony Stark said. I think, you know, the same thing. He's like, even the shop owner when they went and visited, he's like, "Hey, how's your aunt doing?" No, that's why
I think they played it up too much, because when they got food afterwards, they're like, here's this rice pudding.
He's so nice.
Oh, right? Yeah. And then she's like, we didn't order, I don't know. And then Peter says, I think he what was that food that they were eating? Was it lobs? I think he lobs you. Yeah, but they just kept picking at it, and I think they did it too much.
So a little too far with that. Yeah, I didn't notice it that way. I knew they were playing off that joke on Civil War. That's when you first meet her. So they still continue to play with it. So maybe it was overdone. But I did like when the shop owner was telling, "Hey, how's your aunt doing?" And he's like, "How's your daughter doing?" You know, and like, hey, $5 or whatever, $10 just for sandwich or whatever.
That part when Peter walks in, it reminded me of The Room. The movie.
Really? Oh, yeah.
When he's like, "Hey Murph, what's up?" And it reminded me of the "Hey doggy, what's up?"
And nice doggy.
I just started cracking up because then he got a sandwich and he left. I'm like, oh man, that's The Room.
Tony. Oh, hey, I didn't recognize it. Oh man, that was so good. And so that's funny. Yeah, I thought that was some good playing, and it did show like that exchange with him and the shop owner showed that like they were good friends, like he cared for him because he's grown up. That's his neighborhood, right? Yeah. And also it shows that he's quick-witted. He's very quick with his comebacks, you know. So that was really good. It was on his feet, and that's Spider-Man. Yeah. So when he talks too much, that's a part of the Peter Parker character. Yeah,
he's like the not snarky, like.
He'll joke around, witty.
Like I don't know the word to describe. He's a teen
he's just a loud,
like in this, like that
the bank robbery scene.
No, the animated series with the Avengers. Yeah. Like I love the way Spider-Man is characterized, because I think the way like it is in the comic books, like Peter Parker in the comic books is the way it is in the animated series, where it's just like just quick-witted, like he always has a comeback, he always has something to say, and I think this one was very close to that. Sure.
Yeah, he was talking, like, if you look back at Civil War, like, they're like, stop talking. Like, they even told him, you know, he's like, oh, you have a metal arm, you know, with that was so cool. So he was, like, enjoying it and having fun. And in this movie as well, like,
you saw when he was with Happy at the very beginning. Like, Happy was just, like,
which was the limo driver.
The mean guy.
No, he's not mean.
He never listened to him or like answer his calls.
He was Tony Stark's security, head of security or whatever, driver.
Bodyguard/driver turned like BFF.
Yeah, he's like his best friend.
But he's a director of the movies, right? Of the
Jon Favreau
of Iron Man.
Of Iron Man 1 and 2 and 3.
No, maybe not. He did
1 and 2. He did 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was cool.
Yeah. No, but I love that Happy came out.
Yeah.
That
was cool.
Yeah.
And then same thing with Gwyneth Paltrow, which was
Pepper
Potts. She had.
When did they get back together?
Well, they weren't together in.
They broke up
in Civil War because she wasn't there because she was supposed to speak and then she wasn't there. So they got back between that time, I guess.
But
and then
we didn't get to see. Like,
and then he proposed to her. Is that what he did?
Yeah, that's what happened. I just we never found out when they got back together. And now they're engaged. I'm like, what? Did I miss? Did I skip a skip?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Just off stage thing. I think just to improve that story right there. So I thought that was all right. Thought it was good. Oh, I'm playing with this paper a lot. Just so you know. Okay. So how about the villains? There was a lot of villains in this movie. What did you think about the villains?
Wasn't Amazing Spider-Man 2 where there was 87 villains.
Or three, right? Oh, no, Amazing Spider-Man. That's right. That's
Amazing Spider-Man.
The ones that I forget. Yes. I
that you try to erase.
Yeah. What did you think about the villains? Michael Keaton.
Adrian. He did a good job.
Freaking awesome.
I loved Adrian Toomes. I loved Michael Keaton as the Vulture. I think he did such an amazing job. You saw that he was a bad guy, but you saw why he was doing it. Because at the very beginning, the movie starts off from his point of view, how he's trying to make a living, and so you see how he turns into the villain. Mm-hmm. I think he did such an incredible job. He was, I don't know, you empathized with him, I guess.
Yeah.
Because when they came in, I don't know, I did empathize with him. I liked him as a villain. I think he did an incredible job.
Yeah.
An amazing job, if you will.
Spectacular.
Yes.
What do you think?
No, I agree. I like the way that they told his story. He wasn't just some random guy that you knew he was evil, but you didn't know why. Telling the story of why he did what he did really helped kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah.
You were kind of angry of why he was, of what the things he was doing. What they did
to him.
But then you could also be like, damn, they did that to him. They pushed him to do that.
Yeah, he had that government contract, and he's like, hey, we're gonna make our living off of this. And then you find out, oh yeah, actually Tony Stark owns this.
The Department of Damage Control.
Damage Control, is gonna take over and all this stuff. So
he was realistic.
It was cool, and he was smart. He had his crew, and it was good.
We met the Tinkerer.
Yes, and then you did. We met the Tinkerer. We met also Shocker.
We did.
Scorpion, which is going to come out later. So little things. The guy from Better Call Saul.
Well, at the very end. This is. we're already skipping to the end, but the after credit scene, we see where the Sinister Six. Yeah, I'm super excited for that.
So it's cool. I really really like that, and I like just seeing the Shocker because Shocker was a big part of the cartoons in Spider-Man. Yeah. So seeing, and you actually saw the yellow kind of knitted thing, and that was super cool. And then he dies. I'm like, oh, you're now the Shocker. He's like, whoa, I thought he was gonna float.
I thought that was such a funny scene. I know he got murdered and everything, but I thought it was so funny. He's like, I thought that was the anti-gravity gun. Nope, that's over there.
That was pretty good.
He murdered someone, and I'm like, oh, that was funny.
Yeah, that was cool. No, but I liked Michael Keaton. He played it so well.
He did.
He was very
good at playing birds.
Yeah, exactly.
And then his daughter ends up being the girl that
big surprise. Did you guys expect it?
I saw it coming after a while.
Okay, so I've heard from I didn't see it coming because you're on this different he's gonna go pick her up, and then it's wait, who's gonna answer the door? Holy crap. I think right as he was at the door, it's reveal, it's gonna be there, but it caught me by surprise. It was
because as I was watching it, I'm like, okay, he's gonna be someone's dad, so it's either gonna be her or it's gonna be Michelle, MJ. I don't know what are we calling her, Michelle or MJ?
Zendaya.
No, well, she said her friends call her MJ. Let's call her MJ. Yeah. I thought he was either going to be MJ's or her dad, and so I was waiting for it. I knew he was going to be someone's dad.
And I guess the thing you don't expect. Yeah, what was the girl's name? Liz. It was Liz. Yeah, Liz. She was into Peter. They had this whole relationship. We didn't really talk about her.
Even though the cougar, she was a senior.
Yeah, I know.
Right. She was a senior. That's true. She's more mature than Peter was. but yeah, they had like some good chemistry, and then that surprise when he opens the door, you don't expect it. I didn't expect it.
What I didn't expect was that conversation when he realized, when Michael Keaton, Adrian Toomes realized that Peter was Spider-Man.
On the car.
I did not see that coming, and I loved it. I thought it was so good. Peter just kept denying it, and then afterwards when he left his phone there, it was so good. I got super excited. But that scene, that car scene, because you think Liz is gonna like, it's that typical like, if you mess with my daughter, like I'm gonna come get you, and Adrian's like, I'm gonna murder you. Like it was intense. It was so good.
Yeah, and he's like, he even thanked him for saving his daughter, but because I will kill you. If you do it again,
if you come after my business again, I will come for you.
Yeah. It was intense. He was really great in this. I loved him. Yeah, and he's great. Batman, and I never saw Birdman, but
I did.
Yeah.
You can skip it.
Why? I'm gonna watch it, and it's my favorite movie.
It's gonna be your favorite movie.
Yeah. So, but I really, really enjoyed.
What do you think of Tony Stark's? Not even a cameo. He was like a full-on character in this film. What do you think?
Did you expect that?
Like him having this bigger role.
I liked it. Like I'm like I'd be so jealous of him, of Spider-Man, if I was his best friend, like getting to hang out with Tony Stark. Like I felt like he kept it really cool around him. Like I would have just been like, oh my god, it's Tony Stark! Stark.
Tony Sparks.
And like it's Tony Sparks driving in his limo. But I really liked the fact that he was like a modern day kid, blogging it at the beginning and like Snapchatting it, because I mean he was there. And I was really excited when Gwyneth Paltrow showed up at the end, because I don't know, I just think she's super cool. Like, yes,
Pepper,
like Gwyneth Paltrow or Pepper Potts?
Pepper Potts.
The characters getting together.
Pepper Potts.
Yeah,
but he was cool.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a small cameo. They're just using his name to boost up the movie marketing, whatever. There was this cool poster that this guy that I listened to on another podcast, he like photoshopped just all Tony Stark. In like every character of the Spider-Man thing was all him, and it was hilarious. And even Robert Downey Jr.
He retweeted
and reshared all that. It was hilarious. He's like, I like this movie.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch that. Yeah. So it was super funny. I thought he was great. He added to the movie. He didn't take away from the movie. It's that realistic. Like, hey, it's that dude. And it was cool. I like the way they reacted. And speaking of, unless you want to add.
No, I love Tony Stark, and just every scene that he came out, I loved. Even at the beginning when he was trying to open the door and he thought he was getting hugged, he was like, nope, not hugging you, just trying to open the door.
I was like he's going for the hug.
Totally him.
Like I was laughing out loud, and he was trying to be like a father figure, I think, but like in a cool way. I think like he wasn't being like a dad. He was being the cool uncle, like Mark.
Shout out to Mark.
Yeah, and I loved his character. I did, and even at the very end when he asked him officially to be a part of the Avengers, and he rejected. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that was a test."
Yeah.
But like, he was impressed by it, and I love that. Like he was. You don't see him. You don't see Tony Stark speechless, and he was speechless after that, and that was. I really liked that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was crazy. That all these people have public personas. The Avengers, it's Tony Stark. You have Rogers.
Rogers,
Captain Steve Rogers. So you have Steve Rogers. They don't have secret identities. You know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
And so that would have meant Peter would have come out of hiding, and Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Yeah. And I mean that's one thing that Spider-Man, he keeps his secret identity like close, because they will go after the people that he cares for the most, the villains. So that would have been a really big change, and he denied it, which is cool. And I thought it was like, it's that test, and then they open the door, the press is all there, the suit is like, wow, it was going to be a legit thing, which is crazy. But yeah, I liked him being in there. I liked it. He was the right amount of Tony Stark, not too much and not too little to disappoint us.
Yeah.
Another great part of this movie, something I freaking loved. It was great. So you screwed up, and now you're in detention. That was great. Captain America cameo.
It was so good.
It was good. It's like he's like, oh, watch this, and he like looks all the mistakes like. So hey, coach, something. The coach is on that side.
Yeah.
Those free.
It was funny because even the coach, he's like, so we gotta do this. He's probably like a
I think
psycho.
He's like a war criminal or something.
now, but we have to do it by the state. Hilarious. It was so like all of them. So you're going through puberty. Yeah. All of them were just like, so funny.
And I wrote it down. I tried not to forget. It's like, so your body's going through changes. Believe me, I know about my body going through changes. You know, and it's so
That's
cheesy.
so
like if we were in that world, we'd totally have those videos.
We'd see. Oh yeah. They would try to use that to like make because even
He's
they had the detention one also.
The detention's like probably I don't know if he had his leg up. I can imagine. Hey kids, so you screwed up and now you're in detention. Oh, I loved it.
Second after credit scene.
Yes.
Was
the patience one?
I'm like, what? No, I don't want to be mad at you.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Funny. He's like, how many more of these are we gonna do?
What's the thing about patience that you have to be patient with these things. You wait and wait for something and you think it's gonna be good. I was mad. I got mad.
I know they like trolled you.
They
did.
They did.
It was awesome. So I thought that was a pretty. I was cracking up.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was like laughing out loud. I was like, man, totally, that would be great.
Yeah.
A lot of the other humor that they had in this was and I guess we can talk about it, was the suit. What'd you think about his suit? And his Siri equivalent, Karen, right? Yeah.
Karen, who was played by
Hannah Montana.
Zendaya. No, I
don't know. You know who Karen is, right? The voice of his suit?
No.
Of Peter's? Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, cool.
What?
You guys love Jennifer Connelly?
From your favorite movie?
Bewitched.
No!
13 going on 30?
No, that's Jennifer Garner.
From Labyrinth.
Yes, your favorite movie.
Oh, okay. I was going to say from Hulk. The Incredible Hulk. Or
no,
Hulk.
that's Liv Tyler.
But in the first one.
Oh, the first, the 2003. That's a 2003 version, right?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's Jennifer Connelly that was playing her voice.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what'd you think about the suit?
Okay. The suit he was wearing throughout it, I did not like his first suit. I thought the spider was too chubby.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. But the suit Tony gave him at the very end, I was like, my jaw dropped. I thought it was so good, and I can't wait till he wears it. I want to see him wearing it. I want to see him fighting crime, being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in that suit. I'm so excited for it.
What'd you think about the new suit? Did you have any thoughts on that?
I liked it when he was trying it out and he couldn't figure it out. Like he's like, oh, I'm gonna try it on and do exactly what I was told not to do, and then he can't figure out all the settings.
Yeah, like, where his
training
friend training wheels protocol or program.
Yeah, it was a training wheels program, and it was funny. So funny. But after that, and he was trying to figure everything out. There were all these different things that he could scroll through. He had how many
they were gonna go through a tutorial, and he skipped the tutorial. It's like, all right, kill mode on, kill mode on, or
no,
whatever.
it wasn't kill mode. It was advanced.
It was one kill.
No, it was advanced.
Well, they had interrogation mode, which was like the Batman.
Yeah, that was so fun. That was really good.
That was super cool.
But they had different web settings. They had the spinning web, and they had the ricochet web.
Yeah.
There's a ton of web settings, and I thought that was the coolest part. I thought it was really cool.
What was cool, and it didn't take too much away. I know some people I've heard they're like, oh, but that's too much. That's too much. No, like it's too much Tony Stark. Like it's too much technology.
It was like an Iron Man suit.
And it's like an Iron Man suit. And
in the comics, there was, when Tony created, I think his first suit, he called it the Iron Spider. Something like that.
Yeah, so that's like I think a fairly new thing with the Ultimate Spider-Man. I think where that's where a lot of this came from, the whole mentor program.
But that was with Nick Fury,
or with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, it was Nick Fury who was kind of mentoring Peter. And
in the cartoon, right?
Yeah, and they changed.
I saw a little bit of that one.
So the mentoring program is real?
Well, no, like it was just
it was a cover-up.
Just like the mentor.
No, you're talking about the internship. The Tony Stark, the Stark Industries internship was
fake. That was just fake for him to go and fight and help him.
No, this is just like a
he was like a mentor, to him, father figure. So that was cool. But a lot of people, one thing that was taken away, maybe the suit took place, is a spider sense. Like there wasn't any like, maybe they don't have to show it.
My spidey senses are tingling.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just his reflexes. It's just like
you saw his doing like. Okay, so there at the very beginning when he was trying to get a phone call from Happy, and he was trying to get to Happy to find out if he had a mission, and he was just being that's what I love about Spider-Man in general, not just this specific film, but Spider-Man, the superhero in general, is that he is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He wants to help people. You saw him here like helping old ladies, get directions, and I love that so much. And when they saw him up on the roof and like, hey, you're that spider guy, and he does it. Like I think that's so cool. You know, it makes me happy that he does stuff like that because it shows how passionate he is about who he is. You know, he's not like too big for anybody.
Exactly.
He wanted to help people, and I thought that was really, really cool.
Me too. Yeah, I thought it was great that he was doing that, and it didn't take away too much because he did invent his web fluid. He created his web fluid. It wasn't like a gift. It wasn't something that he, stole. He like his brains is smart and created that web fluid, which is cool.
And you saw him in the classroom like actually trying to
he'd make
do
it
stuff.
like during class or whatever, which is cool. So I love that, and it didn't take too much away from it. So anything else in the movie? How about the fights? What did you think about the action scenes?
I thought it was really good, but I like that he had actual superpowers. It wasn't like I don't know, like Tobey Maguire, like he didn't, like he had nothing, like, you know, he didn't have, and even Andrew Garfield, but this one, like, he was doing actual jumps. You know, we saw him at one point when he was getting out of 345 and he like jumped a gate, like that was just him doing his actual superpowers or whatever, and I liked it, and I think it attributed during all the fight scenes, especially that one at the very end when he doesn't kill the vulture and he ends up just tying him. I thought they were really cool. Yeah,
I thought it was super cool too. As far as the fights, he fought the Shocker there. That was like mini boss or whatever, right? And then he fought the vulture, which is cool. But yeah, he was a pretty great character. I liked it overall. Anything else you want to add to the movie? I thought one thing I wanted to say, it was cool to see him in the suburbs at the party, and he's like, I gotta get over there, but there's no buildings. Like he was like running.
That was a good
like there was like an homage to like Ferris Bueller. I heard. You know, so him running through the back, hopping on cars and taking the trip, which is cool. I mean, realistic. He wouldn't just shoot, and that kind of sucks for his power. He can't function in like here. He wouldn't be able to in our landscape.
So, like one mosquito tree to the next one, like it's like 2 miles away.
Power sucks, here. I mean, I could jump and stuff, but whatever. But it was cool. Anything else you want to add to it?
I wasn't at first when I found out that it was Tom Holland that was gonna play Spider-Man, and based on Civil War, like I wasn't too excited for the movie, and I felt like he didn't really fit the role for me. But then I found out how much he trained for the movie and how he does his own stunts, and he was in ballet and like all that. I thought that it was fascinating, and I'm like, oh, okay, I like him now. But I don't know if you guys know how he found out about that he got casted. He found out from Instagram. I thought that was crazy because he says that he was on his bed or doing something, just having his normal day, and he scrolls down his Instagram feed and he sees like on Marvel or something that he got selected for the role after he'd been waiting for that call. So I think that's such a funny story, like when I read about it, because he's like a little kid and he finds out from Instagram like you're expecting that call, and he like, I can just imagine being in that moment, and he shared about that in one of the videos that Pablo played, and I thought that was crazy. Like how, I mean, isn't he 15 or 16?
No, he's like 20 now, right?
Oh, in real life, he's 20, yeah.
But he got casted for the first movie like really young, no? Like
he was cast
17 or something.
When I was still in college, 2015.
Oh, that long ago?
2015, yeah. I was in college when he got cast, so it was
16. He was 16, 17.
He was,
he was a baby.
Yeah.
But I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I thought he was good. He was a good actor. I didn't know him from anything else, so thought he was good.
No
he was in you.
preconceived notions.
Yeah, exactly. So now he's Spider-Man in your heart forever, right?
He is. Yeah.
Okay.
He's cute.
All right. So what would you rate this film?
How
many baby spiders?
How many baby spiders? How many mutant spiders?
How many radioactive spiders?
I want to say something that did bother me about this movie is that the Daily Bugle didn't come out. There's no mention of it whatsoever.
Speaking of that, another Peter Parker trait. I guess stuff we didn't like before we rate it. No, he's not a photographer.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Peter
instead
Parker.
of the Stark Industries internship, it could have been a part-time job at the Daily Bugle being a photographer. Like, they didn't even mention it.
Yeah, and like I didn't even think he ever had a camera.
No.
So like, that was a big. I know
that he was
departure.
vlogging at the beginning, but it was like real like potato-like recording. Like it was
maybe that's the new thing.
Yeah,
like
maybe he was
like
managing a Snapchat account.
Well, like maybe like the evolution of that will be like, hey, he's a social media manager for this like startup or something, called the Daily Bugle,
yeah.
A blog,
this new hipster blog.
Yeah,
they didn't even mention it, and it bothered me so much because it was like
it's a big part of
the first one, the 2002 movie. Like that was his thing. Like you saw him, everyone had their characters. Like that was his part-time job. Even when he was trying to make it through college, like that's what he wanted to do. In The Amazing Spider-Man, it wasn't seen, but it was mentioned, I guess, because when he was talking to Aunt May, he was saying, he's like, oh, I'm gonna email the Daily Bugle a few pictures that I took. I'm gonna get a couple $100 from that, or blah blah. So it was kind of mentioned, and even when he was emailing the pictures to J. Jonah Jameson,
yeah, it's a tongue twister.
He was emailing him in the movie, and this one, nothing, and it bothered me because it's like, especially with like what's going on with journalism, like I wanted some. I wanted something up there, and
it's probably going to be like a website or, like you said, like a blog or some sort of like electronic magazine or something like that.
I just want some representation, that's what he is. He's a photographer.
It's probably going to be like a YouTube channel now.
No,
the Daily Bugle. It's a YouTube channel
or a podcast.
A podcast, yeah. So who knows? They will probably evolve that. Hopefully,
I hope so.
And maybe he'll pick up his photography or videography or whatever he does is going to do next.
Is that the only thing that you didn't like?
That was a big like Spider-Man trait that I think was gone, and a little too much reliant on the suit, even though it was funny. Like it was hilarious. I like that like instant kill mode or whatever it was. I thought that was great. But I think for the most part they got the character of Spider-Man. They told the story well. He was great. It was good. What do you want to rate it? Gonna rate mini baby radioactive spiders.
Radioactive spiders. When I wrote my notes,
flick him to the screen, Melinda. Flick him.
Oh, okay.
And Jim will make it happen.
No, Melinda's editing this one.
Okay. When I wrote my notes for this one after the movie, while I was waiting for the Captain America after credit scene, I gave it. It says here 8.5 to 9 out of 10 spiders.
Nice.
So that's what I gave it initially.
Okay. What do you give it now?
I think it's the same.
8 point what?
It says 8.5 to 9.
Oh, okay.
So
2.9? Oh, 2.9. No, like 8.5.
I put a little hyphen 9.
8.5
hyphen 9
okay.
/ 10.
Cool. Wait.
Is what I gave. Like out of 10.
Oh.
Okay. Out of 10. Cool. What would you give it?
8.5. Spiders.
8.5. I enjoyed this movie a lot. I'd probably give it like 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, 9.5 out of 10 spiders, I would say.
That's a lot of spiders.
It's a lot of spiders. Baby spider, radioactive spiders.
I think mine is the reason it's, I don't know, do I round up? Like what? 8.8. 9.
Wait, what's your scale? Is it a 20-point scale or is it a 100-point
because I said 8.5 out of to 9. So what's like the average is that? 8.8? 8.75? Whatever.
You don't want to give it a
I'm giving it that score because overall I loved it. I loved him as Spider-Man. I'm looking forward to it, which I was hesitant for. I remember talking to my friend Javi, shout out Javi, about this. I was scared because Peter Parker's always been older than us, so like if I had a crush on him, like it's fine because he was like 50 years old, you know, like he was old. This time he was a child, so I could not like him. Like I couldn't like have a crush toward him because I would feel like a perv, like him.
What? or it's like those creepy girls who loved Twilight, like they're like 30-year-old women and like liking 15-year-old boys.
I was in high school, okay.
So I felt like I couldn't like him or have a crush on him. But I felt like, oh, that's Spider-Man. Like I liked it, but I felt like a grandma watching it, to be honest, and that was kind of weird for me. So that's why. I know you said it was too risque with Aunt May. It was very risque. Yeah. I felt like a grandma. I did. Good. Like that's real good. Aunt May. Good to know. The true Aunt May. True Aunt May. 90 years old. My Sancha senses are tingling. There you go. And I must go. All right, your home planet needs you. Got it. Yeah, so thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter. Yes. Like our channel, please. Nerd Mixtape.
at Nerd Mixtape.
Yeah. Yes. Also, we have just created a Facebook page, and you can find us there. I think we're facebook.com/nerdmixtape.
Sure.
I think that's it. If I'm not wrong, I will correct it on screen.
Yeah, and also, we're going to be, please let your friends know, subscribe. Mm-hmm. We're going to launch our audio platform soon, hopefully at the same time, within the next week or so. Yeah. So find us on iTunes soon, hopefully. And we appreciate your support. Let us know. We love movies. We love everything. Let us know if you have any suggestions for us to talk about. I know we all watched this movie that was suggested by somebody else. We'll probably talk about it later. Mm-hmm. So let us know what you want us to talk about and join our conversation on Twitter. And thanks for the support.
Yeah. Join our mixtape.
Join our Nerd Mixtape. Yeah. So have a nice night.
Or day. We don't know when they're watching.
That's true.
Have a good...
Everything.
You be you.
You be you. Bye.
Bye. That's a cut.
Ka-cha.
I said cut.
Does that? Oh, we never did action.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap on Nerd Mixtape, episode 1. Nice. Are we gonna start again? How does that work?
No.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe.
Yeah, sure.